Hey guys, Laura K483 here, and we're back with my fourth video in the series of reviews from a stage manager, where I'm reviewing shows I see while up at the 2017 Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So we're covering 3 shows in this review video, and we are covering the play Wyrd Sisters, the adaptation of the Terry Pratchett novel by the same name, and then we're going to talk about the show The Girl from Oz by Courtney Act, and then last we're going to talk about the show I just got back from, Circa Humans. What company did that? Hold on, let me check. I should know this before I record the video. Oh, so the circus company is just called Circa, and this is their show, Circa Humans. Anyways, so starting with show 1, Wyrd Sisters. Wyrd Sisters is going on at the venue Paradise and Augustine's, and for those of you that have read the Terry Pratchett Discworld novels, then you already know what the show's going to be about. If you haven't, Discworld is a fantastic fantasy series of books written by British author Terry Pratchett, who has a very unique and incredibly funny sense of humor. The Discworld series is massive. There's, I want to say, like 40-ish of them. I'm not sure. I'm very new to Discworld. I'm only on like book 7 or 8, can't remember which one. I just finished reading Pyramids, so it's around that one. And Wyrd Sisters is the Terry Pratchett Discworld spin on Macbeth, the Shakespeare play. Which is kind of funny because one of the shows I'm working on is a Shakespeare play, and it's a Macbeth, so it's like, I'm going to see every Macbeth at the Fringe. Anyways, overall rating, I give this show a 5 out of 10. Like, it was just a straight theater play with a lot of the script, if not all of the script, taken directly from the Terry Pratchett book, and that was the strongest part of the show, was the writing, but a lot of that was given to these guys by Terry Pratchett. They're just using the source material, so a lot of their contributions. So the first biggest thing that stuck out, and it shouldn't be a big deal, but it just, like, you know when something just gets, like, you notice it, you can't unsee it, and it's just in your brain, it's annoying you the whole time? Starts with the witches come out, and the ever-famous "When shall we three meet again?" the first line of Macbeth. And all the witches are being played by people my age. And these are supposed to be, one of the witches is young, so she was fine. The other 2 are supposed to be older women. One, like, incredibly old, her name is Granny Weatherwax, and the other, like, I'd say around, like, 40s, 50s, like, has had a lot of kids, is, like, a very motherly, matronly person, not, like old, like a senior, 65 plus or something, but still old. And the fact that they're all, like, 20-year-olds, and then they've drawn on really terrible but old age makeup to, like, age them up. And if the show was trying to be a bit more comedic, a bit more slapstick, a bit more panto-y, then it would work. But and it might just have been because I was sitting in the front row, maybe from the back, the makeup looks fine. I've had a bit of training in doing old age makeup. I've done old age and, like, cancer patient makeup for a film set before, so I was being a bit critical, but it was pretty terrible. It looked like a child had done it, and then to top it off, one of them also had clearly, like, forgotten her foundation that day, and just decided to use the next actress's, so she had, like, Trump foundation. Her face was orange, with then black, Sharpie, old age makeup drawn on, and then white from everywhere else down. So a lot of the witches, their acting, their performance was really good. Like, they, I think, were my favorite characters and the strongest, one of the, like, 3 of the strongest actors in the show. But I was just so distracted by what was going on in their faces. It drove me a little nuts. So that, like, took away from their performance. And then a lot of the show just seemed like, and this isn't always a bad thing, like, amateur companies can be a good thing, but in this case I'm using amateur in a negative way. The whole show just seemed like amateur people that are used to panto are now trying to do a serious show. And, like, a lot of things are unfinished as well. Like, the costumes, the queen's costume had raw edges and unfinished hems on her dress. So that bugged me. Again, as someone who has worked in costumes, I've done a little bit of everything in the theater, I was like, just finish your dress, please. I could see raw fabric. I could see threads loose. I think if they'd all gone further with it, if they had made the performance feel a lot more panto-y and that style of theater, that very over-the-top, a bit slapstick, very in-your-face, it would have worked, but they were somewhere in the middle of that and, like, serious acting, like, very straight theater, like, making the play dramatic, and they needed to find their place. They kind of needed to pick one and go for it. There was also a few technical hiccups, I think, when I was there. At least I hope so. If they weren't technical hiccups, then their lighting cues had some fairly awkward moments, and the designer might want to rethink some choices. So it was an enjoyable show. Like, I still, like, I wasn't walking out like, oh, I hate that I spent money on that or anything. Like, I still enjoyed it. I think I just went in with fairly high expectations because it is my favorite of the Terry Pratchett novels I've read so far. And then it was just kind of like, like, you tried, points for effort, and just felt very, very amateur, unfinished. And some people could have gone further. Some of the actors were great. Like I said, I really liked the one playing Granny Weatherwax a lot. I just wish they'd maybe... Like, she was great. I just couldn't get past the makeup. I really think they should have just maybe looked for older cast members. And then some of the other... There's actually a lot of the smaller characters I liked the most. People that were playing, like, 3 characters, and they only had a few moments each one. The guy playing various guards and some of the, like, dramatic people, like the guy who owned the traveling players company that the kid gets dropped off at. I loved him. He was funny. And most of his characters. He played, like, 4 characters. He played the ghost of dead Varens. That character was a bit too much for me. The voice he put on, not a fan. But for his other characters, I thought were great. So, for Wyrd Sisters, I give it 5 out of 10. The next show I'm going to talk about is Courtney Act's The Girl from Oz. For anyone that does not know, Courtney Act is a famous drag queen. She was on season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race and was a runner-up, so got right to the end. And before that, she got famous for being the first person to be openly, I don't know if it was openly gay, or to be the first one to compete on any Idol TV show in drag. It's one of those two. I can look it up later. But yeah, so obviously she can sing, like really sing. A lot of drag queens lip sync, whereas she can actually sing. And she has a new show coming out in October called Single AF, or a show that she's going to be on. So I went expecting for some, like, typical humor that goes on about the drag world, like talking about other queens and stuff that goes on in, like, the gay community and things like that, to see some fabulous makeup, fabulous costumes, and to hear some fun singing. And the theme of her show, hence The Girl from Oz, Courtney Act is from Australia, so every song she sang in the show was written, performed, like, made famous by Australian singers or bands. So I also learned a bit. It was educational. There were some songs I had no idea were Australian, like Torn. Did not realize that song comes to us from Australia. What else? There was other songs that I was like, really? That one? No, never knew that. But anyways, it was so much fun. From the minute she came out to the minute the show ended, like, the humor was on point. Her wardrobe, obviously, freaking incredible. The costume changes were great. And her singing was fantastic. Like, 99.9% of the time. The highlight moment of the show for me was, I don't want to talk too much about it, I guess, because, like, spoilers, but it was, like, the standout moment for me. She was singing Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. And things I did not expect going into the show was a serious, like, a very serious real talk political moment, and, like, anything, like, sad or haunting or going into, like, a bit of a darker place. And she started talking about how normally disco music, you wouldn't really pay much attention to the lyrics, you don't think about it that much, but she was really listening to the lyrics one day of the song Staying Alive by the Bee Gees and thinking about what's going on in Charlottesville right now. You can now add recently things like what have happened in Barcelona, like just a lot of the really terrible things that are going on in the world right now, and especially for people in minorities like the gay community or like various like racial minorities, stuff like that. The lyrics of the song can take on a whole new meaning. And she slowed the song right down, changed it to like a minor key, and the song, like the Staying Alive everyone knows and loves, the disco jam to like groove to, became this incredibly somber and like dark and hauntingly beautiful song about like what it's like to live in fear and just be thankful to have another day on this earth when you are part of a community that receives hate. And that is something I never would have expected, and it was hands down my favorite moment of the show. There was also, I had front row seats, which was incredible. Like, if you can get there early, I got there 45 minutes early, that's why I had front row seats, and I still was like maybe the 20th person in line at that point. There are people who would beat me there, but absolutely worth it. Get those seats. I got to see, there was this boy in the front row, I want to guess like 10 or 12. I'm really bad with ages, don't quote me. But he had like a Courtney Act shirt on, had one of her Prince photographs to sign. He clearly, massive fan, like she has been a major influence in this boy's life. And the minute she came on, he's, like, shaking, like, practically crying, like, bouncing out of his chair. And he's in the front row. So he kept, like, trying to wave to her. And then she saw him, and his face just lit up, and she waved back. And he looked like someone had handed him, like, solid gold. Like, someone had told him, Santa's real, and he's gonna come bring you presents every day for the rest of the year. Like, his day, world, life made in that moment. And so a few times in the show, she made a point to, like, reach out to him, sing to him, like, interact with him. And I was like, this hurts my heart in a good way. Oh, this is so cute. So, amazing show. I had so much fun. She is incredibly talented. I was laughing out loud, both for, like, the planned written jokes were incredible, but also her off the cuff, like, her interaction with the audience and the jokes that came out of that. Freaking hilarious. So, like, 10 out of 10 for her improv. Overall, I would give the show a 9.8 out of 10. I know that sounds like super picky and borderline bitch of me, and if she ever sees this, I'm in fear for my life. She's gonna send drag queens to kill me. But there was just, like I said, that one song, Staying Alive, was beautiful, and most of the songs were beautiful. She is so talented. Her voice is incredible. But there was just the occasional moment, like, there was some pitchiness. She was flat a few times, and I could catch it. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of seeing a live singer. It's not going to be perfect, like, on a recording. But it was, and with the song she's singing, when she puts her voice through, she's doing a show every fucking night for a month. Like, damn. But it just, it happened, like, more than once. Enough that I still could catch it, like, once or twice every other song and stuff like that. But I still had so much fun going to see that show. So 9.8 out of 10 for Courtney Act. Highly recommend if you are into singing Australian music. If you like drag queens, you probably already are going to go see Courtney Act. And if you like that style of humor, go. And last but not least, the show I just got back from, Circa Humans by the company Circa. Oh my good lord, like, I would 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, all the stars I can give. Take everything. Take everything. Take my pass, take my phone, take my wallet, take my money, just take everything. That was amazing. So it was at the Underbelly Circus Hub, so is Courtney Act show. They're both the Circus Hub. The Circa Humans is at the Lafayette, the big tent. Courtney Act show is at the Beauty, which is the smaller building next to it. This show, it's kind of similar to that show I saw, Creature, in that it was exploring, like, the question, what does it mean to be human, but also more specifically, what are the limitations of the human body, like, what can I do with this? And the show starts with people literally just, like, flinging themselves around the stage. It's as if they've just been given their body for the first time. They already have basic skills like walk, talk, da-da-da, but they're like, how far can I push this? What can I do with this? What can these limbs do? What sort of craziness can I achieve? I spent most of the show, like, gripping my hoodie like something, because, like, death-defying, jaw-dropping. The acrobatics they do and the stunts they pull off are terrifying in all the best ways, but they do it with such grace. Like, it looks beautiful, and most of the time it looks easy. Occasionally, they did have a few, like, slip-ups, the moment where you felt the whole audience go, like, and, like, we're all like, oh no, someone gonna get hurt, but of course, they're all professionals, they have safety in place, they all, like, recovered, caught themselves, and it was almost nice to see that, because it shows, like, the show's exploring the limitations of the human body, and it's like, no, it's not perfect, and no matter how much you practice, these are still incredible physical feats that are so difficult. They're not going to be flawless every time. And the show was 90% groundwork and just human choreography. There was a little bit of aerial, there was some straps and some trapeze, and I said it before, talking about curtain twitching, like, all things aerial. I'm like, yes, go, I am there, sign me up. But this was the first show where the groundwork was as stunning, if not more so, than the aerial work, and that means a lot coming from me. It was just, like, a celebration of what the human body can do, and an investigation and an exploration of it, and literally there wasn't a moment where I wasn't in awe. I was just, like, mouth on the floor, heart in my throat, just absolutely incredible. And the trust these guys have with each other, holy crap, it is unreal. And the show goes from exploring, like, the human body, sometimes it's playful, and they're, like, sometimes it's playful and supportive, sometimes it was very combative, and they were hurting each other, like, not literally, but, like, as in, like, the storyline. There was one bit, that got a little too, I don't know if this is what they were trying to express, but there was one scene where it was just like, a man and a woman, and this woman would go completely limp, and it was like she was clay, and he was molding her, and he would put her body into these positions that should not happen, like there was some contortion going on, and just with the music they chose, and like what they were doing, it became really dark and morbid for me. Like, I don't know if this was just the context I was bringing to it with some of my life experiences and things I've been through, but to me it became, I don't want to say like rapey or something. In fact, it was a man manipulating a woman, having complete control over her physically, and her being dead-face emotion, as if she was like a marionette the whole time. But instead it's also like some sort of safety mechanism, like she's shut down to not have to be conscious and present while this man was manipulating her, controlling her, and literally doing things to her body she had no say in. Obviously, it's choreographed, it's intended. And it was beautiful and it was graceful, but at the same time it just became like, oh, I just read this very feminism view into it, very like, almost like assault storyline. So he was doing all that to her, and then when he finished, he just left her there, almost like it was like trash, discarded her, like, I'm done with you now. And she was literally, it was like a used up shell of a human was lying there. And then the other cast members came back and were like picking her back up, and then it led into a piece about everyone, lots of lifts, lots of like climbing, lots of supporting each other, and about like building her back up. And again, there was no words, there was no spoken dialogue. This whole show was just dance, circus, physical, theater, acrobatics, and aerial work. But I had this whole story of like either like an assault or abuse, or just someone who is a victim, someone who has been abused, manipulated, and mistreated, and then built back up amidst an overall bigger picture of, look how freaking incredible the human body is, look what we can do with it. If you push it, look at the limits we can take it to. So if you like circus, if you like dance, if you like aerial, if you like physical theater, or if you just want to see something incredible, I cannot give enough of a score, high enough score, enough stars to Circa Humans. I think it's the best thing I've seen at the Fringe so far. And that is my video for today. As of now, I officially don't have any pre-bought tickets to any shows anymore. I'm just going to be trying and using my staff pass, working with C venues, and try and see as many shows in their series of venues as I can, getting my comp tickets that I'm interested in. So I'm not sure what shows are going to be in the next review video. We'll find out. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.